Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this sort of dressing table series. We have a really cute little jewellery box here with what looks like a brooch, a necklace and some jewels in it, which is rather nice, and some sort of precious stones on the outside too. So, and these lovely little leaves and flowers, to do. Where should we start? Let's start with the jewellery box itself. We have these stones. Let's choose a nice colour for those. I'm thinking maybe let's go for a really dark red. Let's just do something quite opulent looking. So I'm just sharpening up. This is the, oh, that's the dark red. I was going to use actually the middle cadmium red. I grabbed the wrong one. Sorry, bear with me. So we have a middle cadmium red. And these jewels, I'm meaning these. So I'm going to go to make them look like jewels around the edge and then slightly lighter in the middle. Do the same thing for everyone, and hopefully that will help to give the impression that they're standing out from the jewellery box. You need to think about what the box is made of. I was wondering whether it would be a wooden box. I can't think what else it would be made of unless it was like enamel. My jewellery box is a cardboard box. It's not really very special. It's, I don't have much jewellery. I have like a necklace that I had for my wedding, and one that my mother-in-law gave me, and a few pairs of earrings. I don't really have much. Okay, let's leave that there. Now, I've noticed we've got this sort of cord sort of thing going around here. Now, I'd like that to look sort of goldish in colour. I've just spotted a pencil which should... I'm trying to think where I used it. I used it in that video. And it escaped on the desk. I'm just writing it onto my pad. I keep a list. I have to keep a list. This is dark naples ochre, and I'm going to use it for this. Yeah, I keep a list of pencils I've used, or else I never remember. So I think I'm going to colour it all in quite lightly. And then, starting at the bottom, just put down a slightly darker bit, like that. Hopefully it looks sort of goldish. Now I'm thinking I am going to do the box in a brown, like wood, just because I think that'll be easier for me. Hopefully you'll be okay with it too. So I'm sharpening up my raw umber. Okay, and I'm going to put that down for all the sort of parts of the edge of the box. Obviously this inside bit looks like it's lined with some sort of fabric, so we can do something different for that in a bit. Now I'm just putting down one normal layer. I'm not worrying about shade and shadow at the moment. I will, just not at the moment. And there we go. And then the same for this one. I'm looking, that's the inside, I'm thinking, although that might be covered in the fabric too. It's got a pattern on. I'm sorry, it's going to be coloured over. It'll have to be part of engraving in the wood. It's too small. I think I'm going to be doing a lot of that in Johanna's new book. You know, sort of maybe ignoring some of the smaller details. But, yeah, it'll be good for people who like lots of little details. Sometimes I'm in the mood for them, sometimes I'm not. Now I'm just looking inside the box to see what's going on. I think that's the edge there. What's that? What's going on there? Maybe that's another gemstone in there. Okay, now we need a darker shade of brown. Oh, right, I have grabbed one. I don't know what it is, I haven't looked yet. It is the burnt umber. Now, let's start with this lid. It's going to be darker inside, particularly at the edge. So let's get some burnt umber down here. And let's fade it a bit there, and then again here. I'm taking it slowly because there's lots of details to colour around. I'm also thinking it'd be a bit darker here on this edge and here. Now, I'm thinking this inside brim might stick down a bit, so I'm going to put a dark shadow underneath it to try and make it look like it's not flat. There we go. I don't know how effective that's been. Now this brim around here I'm going to put a little shadow under too. And this bit under here. And I'm going to colour in this. Like that. Now I'm now also thinking that I've got a sort of corner here, haven't we? This is the front, this is the side. So anything on this side might be just a tad darker. So I'm just going to go over it with this pencil a little bit until we get to the corner there. Just do that a bit more. And we would have shadow underneath our gemstones. Like that. This bit inside is going to be darker, and this bit just because it's going to be more shadow. There we go. Now I'm thinking about the that sort of piece inside the lid. Now I wonder whether it would be a red to match the red gemstones. I've just realised I've missed this. There we go. So I'm going to choose a slightly lighter red. I'm thinking the deep scarlet red might work. I'm going to go over it quite lightly. And I can see where I've missed some brown there. And then I'm thinking it's going to be darker in those edges at the top as well. Just fade it down a little bit. Right, I've missed a bit of the brown, so I'm just grabbing my raw umber again, and I'm just doing that. There. Okay. Oh, I just spotted another bit I've missed too here there. That bit to be a bit darker. There we go. Okay, now let's think about some of these jewels. Now these, the beads, you could do them as pearls, but I think I'm going to make it easy on myself and just do it as a normal bead. So I'm just going to grab, I think, the Prussian blue, that's it. That's what I thought I was grabbing, just give it a sharpen. Okay, so here is our Prussian blue, and for each of these beads, not the clasp, we just go around the edge in a few layers and make it a bit lighter in the middle. We can add shine with white pen after if we wish. Now yeah, you could make these pearls. If you want to make them into easy pearls, do them black. That's easy. But white pearl's quite difficult. Trying to think, I think Jennifer Zimmerman has a pearl video, if memory serves. She definitely has it in her book, I think. Might be on her Patreon, that's the only thing. And I'm sure you can find some pearl videos. I found the most interesting looking thing, which is Pan Pastels do a pearl effect pastel. So, ooh, I put them on my wish list, but they are very expensive. And yeah, maybe Christmas. And they also do metallic pastels. I'd love to find some of the sort of more budget pastels in metallic or pearl, but they don't. I had a look, I found some that said they were soft, dry, metallic pastels. I was like, yay. And then I read the reviews and it said these are great oil pastels, and I was like, oh, there's lots of metallic oil pastels, but oil pastels isn't something I know how to use. And also I don't think they'll be so easy to get around, say these little details. With a dry chalky pastel you can just sort of swish over the top. With an oil pastel you couldn't do that. So it's a whole different technique. I know some people get on really well with them, and I know there are all sorts of really good ones like Caran d'Ache Neo 2 or Neo Colour or something, I can't remember what they're called now, that are supposed to be really good ones, and you activate them with water I think sometimes as well. But I've tried oil pastels a long time ago, when I was a child actually, and I found them quite a difficult medium to work with. I always preferred chalk pastels, so I thought I'd just stick with what I like and what I know how to use. I know it's good for us to keep learning new things all the time, but at the same time I'm still learning what I've got. Right, we have a brooch in our box. Let's do that next. Let's go for quite a dark silvery colour. I was thinking if I use the Cold Grey 6 for the sort of outside, it might look a bit like it's slightly tarnished silver. So I'm just going to lay a bit down, and then I'm thinking this bit, put a bit there, leave a white gap there. This bit around the edge, I think I'll just do a bit and then leave a bit, and then do a bit and leave a bit, and try and make it look a bit shiny. And then it might look a bit like slightly tarnished, darkish silver, maybe. Now I'm thinking, I was thinking like amber. What sort of colour is that's this, isn't it? Like a burnt ochre, I'm thinking. I've never done this before. It's a real experiment. Let's give it a go. So we want a lot of layers around the edge, and then less towards the centre. Amber's used might be a bit more orangey than this, but I'm just giving it a go. Now that contrast isn't enough for me, so I'm actually going to grab the, I think this is the dark sienna. I'll tell you when I've sharpened it. No, it's the burnt sienna. Faber Castell can't spell sienna. It makes me smile that in some languages there are different ways of spelling the same word. We have that here, obviously, but when you spell it different, it has a different meaning. Oops, this is fuchsia. I'm doing some of the gemstones. So this is my first one, as I say, it's fuchsia. I have a very naughty way of remembering how to spell it. I say it in my head. I'm just going to put some lines across to indicate shine rather than colouring too much. I think a green is needed to sort of balance. I'm grabbing the pine green. I know a jewellery box wouldn't have balanced colours, but it helps me. So I'm trying, with these edge bits, what I'm trying to do is make it a little bit darker on the edge and then a bit lighter towards the centre, but that went completely wrong and did the opposite. So, never mind. Last one I think I'm going to do in mauve. I'm just going to brush this off. It's really messy, isn't it? Messy girl. Mauve. It's quite dark, isn't it? That's a bit neater. Gone a bit slower. I don't know why I decided to do this, the reflection different direction. Who knows? Right, for our flowers I've decided I'm going to use manganese violet. I've used it for a while. It's a very nice colour, I think. It's a bit small. So the idea here is to try and make it a little bit deeper and more intense towards the centre of the flower and lighter towards the edge. That's it. And I'm sorry, I was silent while I was trying to think about what colour to do the centre. I shall not do it this colour. If I go over the centres too much with this colour, I may have to do it something quite dark, but if I don't, I can do it light. I'm not basing my decision on what's going to look pretty. I'm basing it on my colouring skill, or lack of. Oh, the sun's really shining. I'm hoping I can get all this page done today and before the sun creeps across the desk, but it's coming. I'm not sure. I thought it was going to be cloudy, but obviously that was wrong. There we go. And I don't want to rush and spoil the last few videos from this book. So this is going to be my last series from this book, and then there'll be a flip through. I've got one page left. I'm going to do that later today, which I'm excited about. It's a nice page. The page I did yesterday was one that I've been procrastinating for ages. If I wasn't about to finish the book, I may not have done it at all. I'm not really sure about it now it's done. But it's the only page I felt like that about in the whole book, which I think is pretty good going. Because I do have some other books, so I'm like, oh, it's quite a few pages. This is green gold. But also you have different moods when you're in the mood for different pages. And the thing about that page was I wasn't really sure what to do with it. I haven't seen any completed versions of it. And you're really curious now to know what page it is. I don't know whereabouts in the book it is. It is one of the lock and key pages. It's forward of this page. Sorry, I'm rustling around. Here it is. It's the page just before here. Let me show you. I did it in gold and silver. There, I'll just leave you a quick sneaky peek. You can watch my flip through to see it proper. So yeah, I was a bit like, oh, I don't know what to do with this page. I'm going to do, I need to do the clasp on the beads. I'm just going to do that now, Cold Grey 4, before I forget, because when I finish the leaves I might think I've finished. Yeah, so that page, I wasn't sure what colour to do it, and in the end I did it in gold and silver, and the gold takes quite a lot of time and it was getting a bit, whew, but we got there in the end. This is another very small pencil that I'm going to use for the leaves. It's number 174. It's chromium green opaque. It's It's not as little as the manganese violet though. Right, let's try and straighten that up a little bit so you can see. And I'm just going to block these in. They're so small. Yeah, I was looking at some comments on Johanna's new book today, and someone had said, you know, it seems a bit expensive for such a small book. And the flip that she did, it looked quite thin, but I know she just skipped out quite a few pages. But the Amazon review says 80 pages, which is her normal size. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Right, time for some white pen. I'm going to do some dots on my flowers. I think they need a little bit of cheering up. I don't feel that the colour of the middle is bright enough. So if I put some white dots, come on pen, then that will help. Now on each of these, I'm just going to put the tiniest shine, like that, and on here, just a little bit. Now I'm going to put a bit on every bead. I'm just trying to work out where to, I think I'll start on this side and then I won't smudge. I just was trying to work out which direction to go. And move it along. It's quite simple, but I think it makes enough of a difference to make it worth the extra few minutes that it takes. I had thought about putting some wood grain on our box, but I think it's a bit too small, so I'm not going to do that, just because I feel like I might just make it look a bit weird, so I'm going to leave it like that. So there it is, all done. Take my finger off, it'll move. There we are. So thank you for watching. We've got 2 more to go. So well done if you're following along, getting towards the end of the page. I'm getting really excited. Yeah, have a super day and happy colouring.